I got my permanent resident 10 years. You're like, oh, man, I got that letter. Welcome to United States. I was like, oh, I was a foreigner. I was not welcome. Now I'm officially welcome. It really feels good because after I got that, the following day, I went to school. You know, when you're walking, you're like, oh my God, thank you. It's like, okay, excuse me. This is my card. I want to change my status. You're like, now you're talking and they won't ask you any question. Oh, where is it? Give them the card, they do, and they change. I was feeling like fresh air. Anyway, it feels so good. So you get that, like 10 years.
One of the worries of international students when they come to this country is how am I going to transition from being a student to a permanent resident, or how am I going to get a green card? How am I going to be a citizen of this country? Because I know for most of us, when you go to that embassy, you have that plan, you want to come to this country, build your life, but it is impossible to build that life that you want as international student. So we have pathways that we can use to get green card in this country. And that is the reason as to why today we will be discussing one of the pathways which international student can use to get green card in this country. And of course, you know, when you get green card, you can get to work as a normal citizen of this country. Hello, welcome back to Inspire Generations. I'm so happy to be back with another video. And if this is your first time watching our videos or visiting our channel, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Of course, don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that every time we post a video, you will be the first one to know. Today, we are going to discuss one of the pathways that international students can use to get green card in this country. I made a promise to you people, and of course this is the day, so make sure that you watch these videos then so that you can get to benefit with all the information that we are going to share with you today. I'm so blessed because we have an amazing guest and she is going to share with us her experience, a journey of how she came to this country as a student. Of course, she was a nurse in Kenya and she is going to tell us more about that, how she was able to transition from being a student to a permanent resident in this country. Of course, if she is a permanent resident, then it means that she has all the right, like a normal, American citizen, and she can work. She can do whatever she wants to do in this country, and I know that is the dream for most of us. So I don't want to talk a lot. I'm going to invite her so that she can introduce herself and then we can go into the details of today's video. Please make sure that you watch them because I know this is so important, and if you know somebody that can benefit with this information, please make sure that you share this video with them. And of course, don't forget to like the video because then YouTube can get to push our videos and many people can get to watch our videos and to benefit with this information that we are sharing on this particular channel. Welcome.
Thank you so much. My name is Dorcas Gaki. I'm a Kenyan. I was born and raised in Kenya. I studied nursing at the University of East Africa, Baraton. I did my BSN there and graduated in 2010. So I got my nursing license and worked for like 8 years. I got my license in 2009, just before I graduated. So worked until 2015. I went ahead in 2013. That was the first time I applied for my master's in the University of Oklahoma City. I got my I-20 and it was time to go to the embassy. 2013, I remember it was 2013 in August. I walked in there and I thought, oh, master's, they're gonna give me the visa, but I didn't get the visa. So I went back and continued working and I was like, I don't think whether I'll go back, but
So like when you went to the embassy the first time, you did not get the visa?
Yes. So the first time I think I didn't have a good bank statement. So they are like, ma'am, sorry, red card. So I went back, worked and continued. My I-20 expired. I think the school reached back, hey, they keep on sending you emails. I was like, oh, maybe I can try again. So in 2015, I went ahead. I requested another I-20. The school sent it to me. This time, I'm not so sure. The first time I was disappointed. This time I was like, you know what, if you give me, well and good. If you don't, life goes on. Yeah. So I was not so much expecting it. So when I went in and I remember almost towards the end of the year 2015, actually they didn't have so much questions. It's like, Mom, congratulations, here's your visa. I'm like, oh, now I don't even plan myself. I have to be in school in 2 weeks. So it was like abrupt. So by then I was working like in Dadaab, and I had gone for my 2 weeks vacation. So I had to put in a letter, oh, I'm going to school, blah, 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 planning myself. So anyway, I came to US in 2016 on 13th. That was my date of entrance.
How can you describe your experience at the embassy? Like, if you were to advise somebody who is doing the application and he or she has received the I-20 and they're getting ready to go to the embassy, how can you advise that kind of person? How do you prepare yourself?
You have to fully prepare yourself, have the right documents. One, make sure you have all your transcript. They might ask, they might not. Have your I-20, definitely. There is a fee, I can't remember how much right now they are paying. And then you must have a bank statement. Then when you go there, be confident. It's like you know, they want you, the way you present yourself, you have to show you know what you're going to do. And when you go there, also let them see you have the plan of coming back. You're going to study. After you study, you're coming back to build your community, to help your country anyway. Yeah, because sometimes they can ask you, how sure are we? But so you also have to be prepared. And then the most commonly question is like, why go to US? Why can't you study here in Kenya or do an online course? So you also have to really show why you have to go and do that course. And so also you need to really have those answers in your fingertip and be confident, because if you're shy and it's like you don't know what you're doing, most likely they nullify you. Yeah.
And I usually tell them that, when you go to the embassy, like, it's like you're going for when you're looking for a job, you get a position and they call you for interview. You have to prepare yourself. You have to know the questions that they may ask you, have the answers for the same. Be confident, and of course, don't be overconfident. You see, because these people want to see if, for sure, as you have said, like, do you really know what you're going to do in the US? Do you know the course that you're going to do in the US? Do you know the school that you will be attending in the US? So all those small details. And as she said, you keep trying. If they deny you the first time, don't lose hope. Go and apply. You can always talk to the school. They will give you another I-20. Go for another trial. If they don't give you again, give it another try until you get that visa, and it's possible. So after you went to the embassy, you got the visa. Now you came to this place. How can you describe that, that experience? You're transitioning from Kenya. You used to work as a nurse. Now you are a student. Of course, there are rules that you have to, you can't just start working. So how was that experience of being, a student and all that?
One thing that most people, me too, I didn't know that when you come here, I was a nurse, registered nurse with a degree, working, earning good money with NGO. So when I came here, it's like, yes, you've come here as a student, you are a student, strictly student. Whether you are a professor, a doctor, right now you're a student, so you can't work until all the rules and regulations you abide. I came here, you have to be in school. Basically, you have to report to school immediately. And the thing that most people don't know, even as a student, okay, the good thing here, you can work from school, but they give you like 20 hours to work in your college, not outside, in school, 20 hours. So when you come in, it's very advisable. Once you've reported, started your classes, the first thing you should try and do, search for a job in the college. Because once you get a job in your school, the thing is, in US you can't work without a social security number. Once they give you, as a student, the social security number card, it has a restriction. You can only work in school, you can't work outside without a work authorization permit. So, but at least you'll have the card, the number. That way you're able to file for the taxes at the end of the year. That way you can be able to obtain a driver's permit before you get the license. By getting, the faster you get the social security number, the better you can be able to move around. So when as a new student, start your classes as usual, but be fast, look for a job. If you're gonna go to the cafeteria, wash those dishes, or you're gonna clean the toilets in school, any type of a job, it doesn't matter. So that you can get the card, and then from there you can be able to process other things. So for me, because I came in, it's like the school had started the previous week. I was a little bit late. I came in, I went to school, started my classes, and I started looking for a job. But I couldn't get a job faster enough. So it took me like 2 months, 3 months, before I could get a job in school, so that they can give me the social security number. When I got it, I was able to work at college, and then you process the driver's permit first, and then after driver's license. Because with the driver's license, it also helps you now you can use it like an ID. That with the school ID, now you have 3 things. You have the social security card, the driver's license, and your school ID. Those are the things that will help you now. You can start the other processes slowly. I didn't know, because I think not many people had done the transition from being a student to residents. The programs were there, but I think they had died slowly. It was a time that it was not so common. But I went ahead and started doing research. How can I transition? How can I start working using my nursing license?
Before you came to this place, you were a nurse in Kenya.
Yes.
So you are a registered nurse in Kenya. So the worry and the question that you have, how can I put into use of my nursing
that
you learned in Kenya,
yes,
rather than going to school, right? Now you want to transition from you want to find a way to transition from being a student to permanent resident. The option that you have is to use the nursing that you earned from Kenya, right? To work as a nurse in this place. How did you start that process?
Okay, it is a long process, but it's doable because I did it. You have to be really patient, and you have to do all the little things that are required, because there is you cannot jump a process. So what I did, I came to Oklahoma State. So I'm currently at Oklahoma State. Passed by there. Actually, it was near my school. So I walked in and asked, what happens? I'm a registered nurse from Kenya, but I'm a student here doing masters in nursing, but I can't practice. I wanted to. So they gave me a pamphlet, a thick thing that has all the requirements that I need to meet before they can endorse my license. So the first thing is you have to meet the requirement, the education requirement. One being, it's either you did a bachelor's in nursing degree, the 4 years, or an associate degree, which is equivalent to a diploma in nursing in Kenya. If you went to KMTC, the associate has to be like 3-year program.
So somebody who has gone to KMTC can transition?
Yes. If you did KMTC in Kenya, you have a registered nurse, the registered nurse in Kenya, you can transition. Because that diploma is equivalent to associate degree here. And the one that they say it's associate degree.
With the associate degree in nursing here, you can do NCLEX for
yes. Yes, because that's the first eligibility that you can do. So if you did your KMTC, you have your diploma, and the next thing is that you have to have worked at least 2 years, whether here or in your country. Most likely it's not here in your country because you can't work yet. So if you have those, so you have either a BSN or the diploma, KMTC diploma, and then 2 years experience. The next thing is that you have to have English, because you're an international student and they think maybe in Kenya we study in Swahili. So you have to prove to them that you know how to read and write and speak and listen English. There are 2 main testing that you can do. You can either do IELTS, International English Language Testing Systems. It's IELTS. So you do that. It has listening, writing, reading, and speaking. 4 areas. the overall grade, or they call it the band, you must have at least 6.5 in the 4. That's the academic mode. And the speaking, you must score 7.
I hope you guys are listening.
Yes, you must score 7 in the test for speaking, and overall of 6.5. So if you have those 3, no, yourself, you know, okay, that's the first thing. When you go to the state, like in state of Oklahoma, there are other things they require. You must have a residency, like to show you live in Oklahoma. That's an address, like where you live. I live in Oklahoma. This is my address. And I have a driving license in Oklahoma, so they verify you live here. Okay. Then they'll tell you to do like fingerprints, but that one comes later. So when you have the residency, so I applied to Oklahoma. Your education, they'll want it evaluated. They call it credential evaluation of your academics. That means they'll evaluate, if you did the diploma, they'll check your curriculum, all the courses you did, if they are equivalent to the nursing courses in US. So they do the evaluation. Most, they want a certificate from CGFNS. CGFNS in full stand for the Commission of Graduates of Foreign Nursing Schools. Now the CGFNS takes the longest process. For me, it took for almost 1 year or almost 2 years, because they have also their requirements. So the CGFNS, you will have to send all your transcripts. But for your college, like KMTC, there is a form you fill. First of all, before you start the whole process, you pay the CGFNS. Right now, it's currently at $390 to get that credential evaluation. So you fill the form, you send them the high school results. Then you fill a form and send it to your college. The college fills all the courses you did to say, yes, this was our student and she or he completed this certificate and these are the transcripts. They seal and send it direct to the CGFNS. Even if you have your own transcript, they don't accept. They want to be sure you went to that school. Then the second form you fill, or if you went to the university, you send it to the university you went to. They want to make sure that you are registered. Current, as of now you're applying, your license must be valid in Kenya. I'm here at US, I'm working, but also my license in Kenya is still valid. I renew it every year or every...
Yeah, actually before we continue with the conversation, this information applies to, even if you're in Nigeria, in Cameroon, wherever, Uganda. Of course, you have the 4 years BSN. I think for most countries in Africa, it's 4 years for you to get a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Or if you have gone to a college, maybe from whichever the country that you come from, you have this government-sponsored, like institution for those people who want to get a diploma in nursing. So this information cut across. You need to have all those, let's say your BSM, have all those documents. You have experience of 3 years from whichever the country you're working from. All that information. So this information, it's cut across. It doesn't matter whether you're from Nigeria, whether you're from Cameroon, Ghana. So this information, applies to you too.
To all the foreign nurses. So the same thing applies to all if you studied outside US and as a nurse. So then your licensing board, whether it's Nursing Council, whether it's Ugandan Council of Nurses, your license where it must be valid, current. So the requirement is you have to be renewing. Even if you're out of the country, you have to keep on renewing your nursing license. So they you fill a form and they send all the information sealed direct to the CGFNS. So once the CGFNS receives all those documents, remember you have to do the English. Usually the IELTS, they give you, it's usually 2 years until expiry. So like every 2 years, if you did, after every 2 years it expires. TOEFL, I think it's every 5 years. I don't know more about TOEFL because I've always done the IELTS. So that one I'm so well versed with. So when you do the English, the examining board of the English, they send the score to the CGFNS. So basically, this CGFNS board is collecting all the information direct to the original source. So once they get all those documents, then they compile it and write a clear report saying, yes, this registered nurse has an equivalent education to US. It's a long report. They'll send you a copy. They'll send a copy to the state, if it's Oklahoma Board of Nursing or any state where you are applying at. Then once the state is satisfied, they give you the eligibility. They send you a mail. They tell you now, go ahead and apply for NCLEX. So they call it, you're eligible for the NCLEX. But that whole it's a process. For me, it took for almost 1.5 years, because I remember I came, but I think I started late, because by the time I was finishing my master's, that is like 1 year and a half, I had not finished the whole thing. So after you get now your eligibility from the states that you want to apply through, then now you go pay $200 to
for
the
NCLEX.
Yes, for NCLEX with the Pearson view. That's the examining board. They offer all the exam tests, not just NCLEX, even these other tests. That's like an agency for the exams. So when you pay the $200, now you're given something called ATT, that is authorization to test. You only have 90 days to book your NCLEX exam. Within the 90 days, if the 90 days are over, it says that you reschedule before they expire, or when the 90 days expire, you pay again. So now, prepare for exam, that's another whole thing. Prepare for NCLEX exam, book your date, go take a test. When you pass, Pearson's View sends your results to your state. They get the results that you've passed. So they tell you now, okay, now after you pass, you have two options. It says that you want a single state license. That is like, if I'm in Oklahoma, I can only work in Oklahoma. Or right now there is something called multi-state licensing. That one, if you apply for the multi-state licensing, you can work in 39 states. There are 39 states that you can work. There's a list of them. You can go to either of the 39 and work without them telling, hey, you need to license with us. But if you do the single state, anytime you go to a different state, you restart the whole process again. So at least nowadays it's better, because once, like for me, I took the multi-licensing state, because that way it makes things easier. For the Oklahoma, if you're doing the multi-state, currently it's like $150. If you're doing a single state, it's $85. So now after that, doesn't mean that you're eligible to work still. You only have your nursing license. As a student, international student, you cannot work outside the school without the working permit, working authorization. And for you to get that, there is 2 ways. One, you get a temporary one if you graduated with the first program and probably you're sharp enough to apply for OPT. They give you like 1 year. For nurses, you only get 1 year. But some courses like engineering, math, sciences, some courses they can get extra time. But for the nursing, you only get 1 year, 12 months. So you can apply for that if you finished and you have the license and work. Once you get the authorization from, if it's OPT, you only get 1 year and you have to apply through your college. That way they give you another I-20 for the OPT. Then you work your 1 year. If 1 year is done, sorry, it's either you go back to school or go back to your country. Well, when you come here, it's so sweet and you want the money, most likely you want to transition and stay a little bit before you go home or you go back to school. So for me, what happened is that after I finished my master's, I had not gotten the license. I was still in the process. So yes, I did the OPT for 1 year. By the time I was finishing, that's when I was getting the now ATT test. So, sorry, I had to go back to school. So I enrolled for my PhD. And now in the process, still now, I didn't give up. Now I started testing for the exam. That was something else. But I never gave up. I passed. Actually, I got my nursing license in April 20th, 2019. So I was like, oh yeah, I've been looking for this thing for so long. But sorry, I can't work. I have the license, you can go work, but you don't have the permit. So it's like, doesn't help. I try to look for hospitals that can file for me, like employ me and then like file my migration papers. Not many hospitals. Before, I think, some people said before the hospitals used to do it, but I think when the things started becoming tough and they stopped. So, but there are agencies, the agencies, employers that now are currently doing. There are many. Right, actually right now there are 7. So I tried some like 2, 3, but I didn't get any that was really materializing. What I can say, you have to really persist, and if you know what you want, you won't sit and wait. You have to look in all ways. So I got my agency that I'm still working for. It's called Westways Staffing Inc. And I applied through it, and I can say it was God sent, because I was still a student and I had come with my kids. So in case my status is gone, me and my kids were gone. You have to also maintain your student status while they're doing the process. That's even what they'll advise, because you don't know how the immigration will take it. So I applied, and also it's another process. So if you give up so easily, sorry, this is not a place. But you have to keep on. As long as you know where you're going, you have that big thing you will see, you'll do whatever it takes. So I applied in 2019, July. In August, that was the Trump era. He stopped the whole process. He said he closed all the immigration things that were going on. So they were closed. Just the moment I had applied. So I was like, now what's happening? Thank God, in October, he lifted the ban. My agency told me, Dorcas, we have to reapply the whole process. I said, it's okay. I don't mind. So we reapplied the whole process in October 2019. Yeah. And then COVID happened. And when it happens, everything stopped. But, well, I continued with my school. So my status was good. I can't work because I didn't have the working, because even the agency will not allow you to work, because if the government finds out, everything is ruined. So, but anyway, slowly by slowly, it went through. The first thing you get is work authorization. Then you get the travel. They apply the travel. So you can travel outside the US if you like during the process. But once you get the work authorization, the agency now, once you apply with them, they follow up everything. Yours is to provide all the documents that they need. There are several that they need, but you provide and then they do the rest. And then it depends on the contract. Most of the time it's like a 2 to 2.5. Actually, it's hours. Like for me, it is 3,744 hours. It's an equivalent of 2 years if you're working 36 hours. So that is like 3 days. If you're working 3 shifts, 12 hours, those are just 3 days a week for 2 years. But you get the whole package. So anyway, so we applied in 2019, October, and in 2021, remember there was COVID, so it took that long. So 2021 in January 27, I got my permanent resident, 10 years. You're like, oh man, I got that letter. Welcome to latest. I was like, oh, I was a fool now. I was not welcome. Now I'm officially welcome. It really feels good, because after I got that, the following day, I went to school. You know, when you're walking, you're like, oh my God, thank you. It's like, okay, excuse me, this is my card, I want to change my status. You're like, now you're talking, and they won't ask you any question. Oh, where is it? You give them the card, they do, and they change instant. And you know, the most thing that was so good, that semester I was supposed to pay 5,000 for my course. School fees went to 3,000. 2,000 just from international
to being a permanent resident.
My goodness. I was feeling like fresh air. Anyway, it feels so good. So you get that, like 10 years. Permanent resident is a 10 years. Working, you can renew as much as you want if you don't misbehave, because also you have to abide with the law. Or after 5 years, they even tell you, that letter says, after 5 years, you're welcome to apply to be a citizen of US. Or you can renew, or after 10 years, you can go back to the country. So it's you to choose. So anyway, but the information right now with all the YouTube, with all, at least there's like what you're doing. Me, I didn't get all this. I had to like do it on my own, try all the ways, look for agencies. How do I get this? But right now, you're getting all this information. So whoever is seeing this, whoever is listening, and you're planning to come, maybe the nurses back home, you're trying to come, you can come as a student, especially those who have done BSN, just apply for the master's. Actually, I would say that's the easiest way. If you have a bachelor's degree in nursing and you think you want to come to US, just apply for a master's. When you reach here, the faster you start, the faster you're free. Yeah. Or even KMTCs, you can apply, but I don't know how you come, because most likely it's easier to come when you're coming for a master's degree. Or another option is when you come here, try away and jump into nursing. When you have your RN, you can transition.
So the agency agreed to file for you and the...
Oh yeah, actually they filed for me and my kids, because my kids were under F2. So they were like, we'll file for you both. So me and my kids were permanent residents. Yeah, that's God. We thank God for that.
Sure. You know, I usually say that, you know, all this information, right now it's available. For some of us, we need to find this information, you know. I remember when I was coming to this place, I took like 6 months trying to find information. Going to get the passport, I don't know, looking for school, getting the bank statement, looking for information. And for me, actually, it's all about how you're going to use this information. So if for all you guys, you know, back in Kenya, in Nigeria, in Cameroon, and you want to try something new, you want to come to this country as a student, you have a BSN, you've gone to, you know, KMTC, it's Kenya Medical Training College. Probably maybe you're from Uganda, I think probably it's Uganda Medical Training College, or Cameroon Medical Training College, or Nigeria Medical Training College. Know that you can use that, you know, license of yours back in that country and practice, you know, as a nurse in this place. But of course, it is a process that, you know, you have to be very patient. You have to look for information. You have to, you know, to be persistent in, you know, it's not a process that you're going to start today and then things just fall into place. You have to look for that information. So if you guys, anybody that is going to watch this video, you have a BSN, you want to come to this country, then the best option that you have, apply for that master's program. And of course, actually, even for those guys who have a diploma, you can apply for a BSN. You can apply for a BSN. So for us, we are in that process. So we are not yet in America. We are foreigners. So when you get that paper,
welcome to America.
That's when you get, you know, you feel, they tell you, you know, welcome to America. You know, so it is amazing. But one thing that as I've said, you have to be very persistent. I hope you guys are going to share this video to other people, especially those people who are nurses and you want to come to this country and try your luck. You never know. If you are a nurse in Kenya, you can also find an agency while back there and follow the same procedure to come to this place. Though I would prefer you coming to this country because when you come as an international student, you're already in this country.
Yeah.
So it's easier for you.
Makes it easier to transition.
Yeah, to transition.
Because in Kenya, for you have to like travel either to South Africa or India to do NCLEX. There's so much involved.
It's so much. Yeah.
And most people give up because of it's a long process.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine actually who was able to do that, but it took him time. And actually, even right now, he's still on the process, but he was able to do the NCLEX and he had to travel all the way to South Africa. Even for those of you who want to come, you come into this place to do a master's program in another different course. Of course, nursing is one of the pathways that you can get permanent resident. We have other pathways. Especially those people who are doing any course under STEM, that is science, technology, mathematics. So if you do any course that fall into that category, then there's a possibility that you can use that course to transition to a permanent resident.
But nursing is the easiest.
Yeah, nursing is
because
the best. Yeah.
Shortage of nurses.
Yeah.
Shortage of nurses, and they need more and more and more. So. Yeah.
It is the best. It is the best option. I mean, you don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. It's just a way of a pathway. They call it a pathway to once getting what? Permanent resident. So once you get permanent resident, then you can decide whatever you think that you want to do. All right? So it is possible, guys. And as I was saying, if you're applying for another master's program in another area, once you come to this place, you can change immediately and start your BSN. And of course, once you get your BSN, you do your registered nursing NCLEX, and then you can find agency and they file papers for you. So that is it for now, and I'm so happy. Thank you so much for sharing that information with us. I believe it's going to, it's going to be helpful to so many people. I've been getting so many questions, related to that, and I believe it's going to help, a lot of people. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for sharing that information with us.
Thank you.
All right, so that is it for now, guys. We'll see you in the next video.